So where can you buy fabric for cheap? This is not just a normal Joann's alternative video of where you can find fabric. I actually need another place to find fabric that is affordable. That's the thing, is with as much sewing as I do, I need the fabric to be affordable. So these are the places that I have been buying fabric, honestly, for years and years, even when Joann's was around, and they are the ways that I can save money on my sewing habit. Let's get to it. So the very first one that I do and has done for so long is thrift stores. Most of my fabric nowadays does come from thrift stores. I am blessed that I can do that. I have found large yardage. I've also found a lot of scraps like this. This is how my thrift store does it. For 50 cents, that's pretty good value. And you never know if the scraps are huge or not, but it's also kind of like a treasure hunt. Now, I've found grab bags. Actually, these were half price when I got them. I'll link to that YouTube video below. There was so much fabric in these two bags, and I got both of these bags for $3. So your thrift stores might be different. It might be priced differently or priced per yard. Everybody is different, but these are really just such great values. If you have a place that you can get fabric from, go ahead and do it. It also really challenges you to use the prints that you find. Number 2 is going to be the Remnant section of places that sell fabric, like Hobby Lobby and Walmart. Hobby Lobby's Remnant section is usually just behind the sewing section. There can be some really good deals there. You might want to also look in other parts of the clearance section in that store. For Walmart, my Remnant section was right at the end of the cutting table. So number 3 is going to be craft stores and fabric stores themselves. Duh, that's where you can find fabric. But I think a lot of people look at the prices and are overwhelmed, and there can be a lot of great deals in some of those places. Even my local quilting shop, while the prices are probably a little bit too high for what I want to spend on a normal basis, they do have email newsletter sales. They had a bin outside with discounted fabric fat quarters. So there's always sales that you can find. Places like Hobby Lobby are going to have their fabric on sale at certain times, certain weeks. They no longer do discount coupons, but they do sales frequently. Even at Walmart, where the prices are definitely cheaper, I have found fabric like on the end caps that wasn't remnants, that was just $1 or $2 a yard. I don't know why, if it was being something that was discontinued or not. But yeah, I mean, super affordable, and especially holiday fabric. That fabric tends to go on deep discount at the end of major holidays at places like Hobby Lobby and Walmart. I have found amazing deals on Halloween fabric, the pre-cut fat quarters, for just pennies, honestly. So that's a great place to find things inexpensively. Just because you feel that a store might be overpriced doesn't mean that it always will be. All right, number 4 is going to be garage sales. You all know that anybody that crafts builds up a stash, especially sewists, and for whatever reason, somebody might need to offload their fabric stash. Could be just that they're moving. They've lost interest in sewing. They realize that their sewing journey is taking them in a different direction than what all the prints and fabrics are that they have. So always be on the lookout for garage sales, I'd say estate sales, of people that are no longer continuing their hobby. Number 5 is going to be Facebook groups. I'm in a Buy Nothing Facebook group in my area. And when somebody puts a call out for fabric, you would be surprised at how many people offer up all of their fabric stash or portions of their fabric stash for free. There can also be like Facebook groups that you might have where things are for sale, but somebody could list a huge fabric stash, like a Rubbermaid tote full of fabric for $10, $20, something like that. So whether or not you're getting it for free or you're paying a little bit of money, it is surprising what is out there when you start looking on Facebook groups. Now, if you need fabric, if you haven't found anybody offering fabric, just put a post out, like especially if you're teaching kids how to sew, or if there is a specific story that you have, a reason why you need the fabric. I think crafters are really more keen to share their fabric when they know that it's going to go to a good cause, so to speak. So if you need something for a very specific reason, put out that request on one of these Facebook groups and see if somebody offers you some of their fabric stash. Number 6 is going to be home improvement stores. You're not going to find pretty florals and like fancy fabrics at home improvement stores such as Lowe's or Home Depot, even Ace Hardware. But you may find fabrics that will work in certain aspects. These are things like drop cloth. That type of fabric can be used for like pillow covers and a lot of home decor. You can bleach it, you could stencil it, a lot of different things. So like drop cloths, canvas, just really more industrial types of fabric, but you may be able to get them at a good deal and use them for very specific things. Number 7 is reusing old clothing for fabric. I have been doing this for so long, especially when you can get clothing for super, super cheap, such as like at thrift stores, maybe Goodwill outlets, something where you can buy like bags for a few dollars or price per pound. That's going to give you the best value for your money. Men's shirts and flannel shirts, they can all be deconstructed for their fabric. Linen shirts and linen dresses. Denim isn't something else that is great, whether you're making denim purses or just cutting apart the jeans and using the denim. A lot of these pieces of clothing also have clothing notions on them, like zippers and buttons that can be cut off and used as well. Number 8 is going to be sheets. This is something that you can easily find at thrift stores, at garage sales. You can even buy inexpensive sheets in mass market home stores as well sometimes, especially like on clearance. Sheets have a ton of fabric and yardage to them. And if you are making something such as like a skirt, maybe a tote bag that you're going to be putting some interfacing on the back and stiffening it up anyways, this is a great option of getting a lot of fabric for very little money. Number 9 is going to be tablecloths. It is basically the same thing. Tablecloths tend to be maybe a little bit shorter than sheets, but they're generally a fabric that is a little bit thicker, a little bit maybe more colorful in some ways. And these are probably going to be good for like tote bags and maybe pillow covers, things like that. Number 10 is going to be curtains. Again, same thing. A lot of yardage for inexpensive, especially people that like might want to get rid of their curtains. You could find it on Facebook groups or garage sales. They might be selling curtains for like $1 or $2. Do you know how much yardage you get with a pair of curtains? Now, if they have a blackout liner on the back, that is going to be a little bit challenging unless you're doing like a bag. So just keep that in mind. But these are great items to find at thrift stores, garage sales, even full price in some stores are still going to be way more cost effective than if you buy the same amount of fabric. In fact, I have a couple sewing projects on the website. I'll put the links down below in which I repurposed curtains that were bought that just weren't used for their intended purpose in the house. It's surprising what you can do with curtains. It really, really is. Number 11 is just simply to ask friends and family. I mean, it really is that easy. Again, just like people that are donating things maybe via Facebook, there are just so many people that want to get rid of their fabric stashes because it does take up a lot of room. And anybody that crafts knows that all those craft supplies take up a lot of room. So when people are decluttering or moving, they are just willing to get rid of these items without even asking for money. This is a great opportunity. I highly suggest doing this, especially when people are decluttering and spring cleaning, summer garage sales as well. But honestly, any time of the year, if you have a need just ask. If you're on Facebook, in your Facebook groups, just call up a friend or neighbor or family, ask if they might have anything that can be used, and you can get it inexpensively, hopefully for free. Number 12 is going to be Facebook Marketplace. This might not be groups that you are in, but it could be something that you can search for on the Facebook Marketplace forum. Just always be careful with those type of things and make sure you're not being scammed and meet someplace where there's the public, and so you don't have to worry about that. Sometimes Marketplace, you can have things shipped to you, so that is an option. Craigslist might also be an option, somewhat like Facebook Marketplace as well. Number 13, this is one that a lot of people do not think about, and it is IKEA. IKEA actually sells fabric, and while the fabric by the yard normally might not be that great of a value, the things that you can buy in the IKEA, like as is section at the end, can be amazing value. So they might have fabric that is cut, that is for sale, deeply discounted in that area. Or you can again buy sheets, curtains, tablecloths, any of those type of things in the as is section. At least my IKEAs have always had that at the end. I don't know if every IKEA has that. Right before you check out, there's like a clearance kind of as is section. So check that because you can get some good deals there. All right, number 14 is going to be reupholstery shops or curtain makers, upholstery shops in general, maybe places that manufacture fabric or have fabric samples. Any of these places probably have a excess of fabric that is not being used after either reupholstering the furniture or making the curtains or doing whatever it is that they do. These places might give away the fabric for free, or they might sell it at a really, really deep discount. The great thing about these places is that you're going to get really thick, high quality home decor type fabric. And that type of fabric usually costs quite a lot in a fabric store. So even if you're paying a discounted price, is probably going to be pretty good for what you are getting, especially if you can get your hands on like some of those books with the fabric swatches. Like the fabric swatches kind of can be like quite big, and those type of things can be used as like patchwork. They can be used for really small items like gift card holders or maybe drawstring bags, things like that. And a lot of times you can find those books for free, which would be awesome. So number 15 is going to be mystery boxes online. Etsy is an especially great place to find these. So this might be small fabric remnants that are not being used by somebody that is making crafts. So like somebody that might be making purses to sell on Etsy or a craft fair or somewhere. They have like all these scraps and strips, and for the big scale things that they make, they can't use it, but they can resell those smaller pieces at a deep discount and recoup some of their profit. So there are a ton of places that will sell these mystery boxes. You might be able to find some that has like large yardage, but generally they're going to be smaller pieces, which is great if you're doing quilting, if you're doing like patchworks, if you're making really small items like Christmas ornaments and things like that. I'm going to put a list to some of those that I love in the description below so that you can click through and see what they're like. There's also like mystery boxes for sewing notions such as lace and ribbons and maybe buttons. So this can be a fun way to be economical, and it's also just like a treasure hunt each time. I mean, it's kind of like a surprise a surprise gift that's really fun. So those are some of my favorite ways of getting fabric inexpensively. What are some of your best tips? I'd love to know. Leave them in the comments below. Happy sewing, everybody.